Welcome back to Hope at Dawn, right here at Hope TV, where you look and you live. That was Joyce Omondi Wahiga, the song Tumaini, taking us to some 25 minutes past 7 a.m. Time for the newspaper review. What is being reported in the dailies this morning? Let's start with the Standard, and they go with the headline, Blow to Gachagua as judges stay put. And there is a photo there of the ousted Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and the three judges, Justice Eric Ogolla, Justice Anthony Mrima, and Justice Freda Mogambi. Bench composition fresh from blows in the National Assembly. The Senate and the courts last week impeached Deputy President's attempt to block a three-judge bench set up by Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu to hear impeachment cases fell apart, with judges dressing down lawyers for their conduct during hearing of the application. It's a story that you can read on page 4. And there is a quote there attributed to Justice Anthony Mrima, the High Court judge. On our part, we have carefully considered the issue. The drafters of the Constitution had a reason to have the DCJ deputize the CJ in the Supreme Court and not in the Judicial Service Commission. So you can read that and what it means now for the impeached deputy governor. What next? Still on the front page. What next? That is the question. IMF's jobs answer to Gen Z protests to address growing unrest among the youth in sub-Saharan African countries. The International Monetary Fund warns Kenya and other nations in the continent to prioritize job creation and has identified 3 major challenges that it says must be addressed to improve job prospects. It's on page 2. And Kenya and Africa advised to diversify economies, moving beyond traditional sectors. IMF cautions that failure to act could exacerbate poverty, fuel instability, and drive migration. That is what you can read on page 2. Ticking time bomb, they say 75% youth percentage of Kenyan youth who are informally employed. So you can read that story and what they were discussing during the meeting. The IMF's meeting. Then I still on the front page. Overhaul calls as Moi University fights for survival. Troubled institution requires financial bailouts, robust reforms in governance and leadership, even as reopening date remains hazy. It's on page 8, and it's a very sad story as well. Moi University, one of the oldest universities in the country, and they're saying Education CS Julius Ogamba says government doing all it can to revive university. Tinderet MP Julius Meli says they have requested for government bailout. So more university students may stay home longer as the government plans to reopen the institution. And you can read there some of the mess at Moi University. And they're also on the same page, page 8, colleges to register afresh with Qualifications Authority, says PS. That is, all training institutions will have to register with the National Qualifications Authority to get certification. That is a story on page 8. And why new graduate teachers risk being jobless for longer. Thousands of new graduate teachers risk remaining jobless due to a mismatch between their qualifications and immediate needs of the education sector. It's on page number 8. Then as we look at other stories inside here, court stops judgment on 7 linked to murder of former MP. 7 suspects in the murder of former Kabete MP George Muchai have secured orders to stop the delivering of a judgment in their robbery with violence trial. The suspects appeared before Milimani Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyina on Tuesday afternoon for the judgment, but informed the court that they had obtained orders from High Court Judge Alexander Muteti to postpone the verdict. Read that on page 10. As we get to check on other news inside, let's go to the county section of the Standard. Governor clashes with senators over summons. Isiolo governor claims Senator Fatuma Dulo was using the Senate to settle scores. Senate fines him $500,000 shillings for not appearing before committee. So he clashed with the senators. That is, Isiolo Governor Abdi Guyo clashed with senators over his failure to honor summons to appear before various Senate committees. And political rivalry between Guyo and Isiolo Senator Fatuma Dulo played out, with the governor accusing the senator of using committees to play local politics and micromanage affairs of his administration. So you can read that on page 16. And diaspora pushes for voting rights in Kenyan polls. That is, Kenyans living abroad will meet with the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament in mid-November to push for their long-sought voting rights in national elections. That is in as far as the county news are concerned. When we go to the business section, Africa's central banks demand global financial system overhaul. They cite under representation in key decision-making organs of key institutions such as the World Bank and IMF. This translates into limited access to resources and higher borrowing costs for developing nations. Read that. Then I see regional bank gets stable outlook. Moody's Ratings has affirmed the Bar 3 stable rating for the East African Development Bank. The agency highlighted the bank's strong capital position together with an improved non-performing assets ratio of 0.8% in 2023. Safaricom MultiChoice sign streaming deal. That is, MultiChoice and Safaricom have partnered to enable the telcos customers access content on Showmax and DSTV Stream. Then Jumbo Jet tops low-cost airlines. That is in the business section. The shipping and logistics section, blue economy projects take shape. The government has set aside 1.7 billion in grants to support 612 fishing cooperatives and groups in the coast. Read that in the shipping and logistics pullout. Then the other news as well on the Standard. This is the real estate oversupply causes price correction in Nairobi City's apartments. Read that story on that pullout. Apartment prices in Nairobi drop as oversupply depresses a market. It's on page number 35. Local engineers eye more PPPs as Kenya set for global recognition. Admission to the Washington Accord to give local professionals better bargaining power as their international experts in mega projects. I see Eric Muga, the CS Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, saying that PPPs will have local engineers. There is a local content clause where engineers will learn skills, transfer from private developers and utilize these skills for future development level. It's on page 36. And posh houses boost Kisumu City's status. It's on page 37. Let's go to the sports page. That is the back page of the Standard. And Vinicius shows his real class again against Dortmund. Brazil and Real Madrid star says they listened to their coach as they went to the breather, trailing 2-0. Aston Villa go top of the table as Arsenal beat Shakhtar despite Trossard missing a penalty. So it was a fantastic show by Brazilian forward Vinicius Jr. in Real Madrid's fantastic come from behind victory against Borussia Dortmund. They were trailing 2-0 at halftime, but once they came back, they actually scored 5 goals in the last 30 minutes, and it was a fantastic performance by Vinicius Jr. That is in as far as the Champions League is concerned. Let's look at page 47. Mourinho reunion, a reminder of how little has changed at Man United. Manchester United face Fenerbahce in Europa League action today. Ten Hag's side have only 2 points from the opening 2 matches. And of course, tonight's reunion with Jose Mourinho serves as a painful reminder of how little has changed for the troubled Old Trafford club since he was sacked 6 years ago, and that match is at 10 p.m. Other matches being played today. Karabag will be at home to Ajax of Amsterdam. AS Roma hosting Dynamo Kiev. Athletic Club will be taking on Slavia Praga. Lazio will be away to FC Twente. Besiktas will be away to Lyon as Tottenham welcomes AZ Alkmaar. So that is on page 47. Stuttgart hit late winner at Juve. PSG pay for missed chances, and Leeds beat Watford to go second. I also see Asbel Kiprop triumphs Blood Babes lift rugby title. That is on page 47. Then junior starlets take positives from World Cup. Head coach Cheche pleased with her charges performance on debut. 4 Kenyan players scouted by European clubs. So the junior starlets were poised to take on Mexico in their last 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup match in Dominican Republic in the wee hours yesterday morning. And Mildred Cheche, the Kenya Under-17 coach, saying Kenya needs heavy investment in women's football. Finances and infrastructure are key in this matter. So you read that story as well. And there was history. Bronny James make NBA history as Lakers triumph. They became the first father and son to play alongside each other in regular season fixture. LeBron says it is something he will never forget, no matter how old they get. And indeed, historic moment there. That is in the Standard. Let's go and check what's happening in the Daily Nation. And they go with the headline, Standoff. And the 3 judges there, presiding judge Eric Ogola Center confers with Justices Freda Mugambi and Anthony Murima yesterday at the Milimani Law Courts. They report here legal ping pong even after losing their case, questioning the powers of the Deputy Chief Justice in assigning a bench. Impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's lawyers yesterday managed to further stall the hearing of the respondent's plea to the court to lift orders stopping the assumption of Office of Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki, while the petitioners signaled their intention to appeal the ruling by the 3-judge bench. They also insisted that an application seeking the recusal of the judges for alleged bias be heard and determined first. Page 4 and 5, you can read that. So on the front page, Chief woes, we don't have time to wait. Patients tell Ruto. Patients missing critical procedures like chemotherapy because hospitals are demanding cash upfront due to the chaotic transition to a new healthcare system have scoffed at President William Ruto's latest assurances. Together with their relatives, the patients say they don't have the luxury to wait until the government fixes the bureaucratic bottlenecks, yet they are ravaged by diseases. On Sunday, President Ruto appealed to Kenyans to be patient with the Social Health Insurance Fund, saying the new system will be running efficiently in a matter of weeks. Right. But patients are saying, how can we wait? Our diseases can also not wait. I also see grade 9 crisis to persist even as textbooks are distributed. Learners joining grade 9 in January next year will face a myriad challenges ranging from a shortage of teachers to inadequate infrastructure, even as the government works to fix the problems. Junior schools remain the most understaffed segment in the basic education cycle. The staffing does not also match the skill sets of the teachers. And there was a very sad story yesterday. The Wells Fargo boss's body was recovered. Ayeko went missing on Friday last week. Police looking for 2 suspects seen parking Ayeko's car. Ayeko was the head of human resources to Wells Fargo. And police allowed to hold 4 suspects in athlete's murder case for 14 days. Police probe drugs sex ring angle in murder of politician's daughter. Very, very sad stories that are happening in our country as well. As we go to the other stories inside the Daily Nation, looking at the stories here. The county news, that is what we were looking for. The county news, 500 Diani families face eviction over cheap houses plan. Why Isiolo governor is in the Senate panel's bad books. So you can read that. In Bomet, residents up in arms as road stalls for the 5th time. In Lamu, locals rule lost benefits on aborted launch of power projects. That is in as far as the county news are concerned inside the Daily Nation. Let's go to the DN2 property pullout, turning Chama into investment powerhouse. A look at how groups can transition from just saving and table banking ventures to formal groups capable of investing in income-generating property. That is the DN2 property on pages 24 and 25. From the international news, Trump accuses UK's Labour of interference. Prime Minister Keir Starmer dismisses accusation, saying it is pretty normal. President Biden urges Americans to lock Trump up and out politically. I also see Georgia's billionaire tells voters, don't risk war with Russia. All right. The business section, 12.5%. I see what Econ has been paying in interest for bond. Econ fully redeems 5.7 billion shillings green bond. Then I see Malawi, Zambia, now Kenya fuel import model. The countries have expressed interest in the G2G deal currently in use in Kenya. And yesterday, of course, Safaricom was appreciating customers as it celebrated 24 years. Read that as well on page 28. The back page, preparations for transition to grade 9 in shambles. EACC cornered for posting misleading claims in graft case on social media. That is the back page of the Daily Nation. Sports pages quickly. Cruising bankers not ready to lose lead anytime soon. Table leaders hold pre-match favourites Gor to a draw in match. KCB coach Odhiambo feels they should have won. Then I see Makamu Odo's family name Owalo head of a funeral committee. Then Kenya in heart of IOC succession battle as big boss Thomas Bach comes calling. And runners eye big payout as the prize pool surges to 12.95 million. That is the Daily Nation. Quickly, the Business Daily. Angola economy to surpass Kenya in latest IMF forecast. Demand for oil, anti-graft reforms to lift South African nation. Kenya projected to hold on to 4th position. I also see wholesale retail saddle banks with 143.7 billion bad loans. Local investor activity climbs at the NSE. Kenya bank deposit protection rate slumps. The value of insured bank deposits grew by a slower 14.7% to 857.8 billion shillings as of December 2023 compared to the previous year, pointing to lesser protection of depositors. And I see Kakuzi directors escalate fight with CMA over probe. And there is a quote here by Bitange Ndemo. India has become a popular destination for medical tourism, offering high-quality services at a fraction of the cost compared to local options. This highlights the urgent need for Kenya to address inefficiencies. And you can read that extensively on page number 9. A lot is happening, a lot is being reported, and a lot is happening from the grassroots to the county level to the national level. Lots and lots of things happening over our nation. And we have said we cannot give up on our nation despite all that is happening, despite all that is being reported. As believers, let us take our position and pray for this nation, because as we keep being reminded, we don't have an alternative. Hatuna substitute. Kenya has to thrive. Kenya has to succeed. And when Kenya succeeds, you and I, we also succeed. Right about now, why don't we take a break to pave way for the video of the day.